Hey, friends, have you ever found yourself in a situation where someone from your past, someone who once walked away from your life, suddenly reappears? It's as if they've been a ghost for months or even years, leaving you in the dark with nothing but unanswered questions. They ignored your calls, they didn't respond to your messages, and maybe they even said things that hurt you deeply. You were left to wonder, what happened? Why did they disappear without a trace? You didn't get closure, and you didn't get the answers you needed. It felt like a betrayal, didn't it? The silence between you both felt deafening, and all you could do was try to move on, try to heal, while they drifted away without a word. But then, out of nowhere, they come back. You get that unexpected message, that sudden phone call, or maybe even a surprise knock at your door. And suddenly, all those old feelings come rushing back. You find yourself asking, why now? Why after all this time? And if you're being honest, it's confusing. It feels like they've somehow slipped back into your life without permission, as if they're just picking up where they left off. But don't be fooled. There's so much more going on beneath the surface of this moment than just nostalgia or random coincidence. You might feel a mix of emotions: anger, confusion, perhaps even a sense of betrayal all over again. The wounds of the past may still be raw, and the idea of reopening them might feel unbearable. But here's the thing. When someone reaches out to you after they've disappeared without a trace, it's important to pause, to think, to breathe, because this moment isn't just about what they want from you. It's also about what you want from yourself and what you are willing to allow back into your life. Stoicism teaches us that we can't control other people's actions, but we can control our response. This moment is a chance to practice that, to choose how you want to react, not just out of emotion, but from a place of inner strength and clarity. What are they really seeking? Is it closure? Are they looking to rekindle something? Or have they come back because something in their own life has changed, and they now realize they need you in some way? And then there's the question of you. How will you respond? Will you allow your emotions to dictate your reaction, or will you take a step back and evaluate the situation calmly with wisdom? In many ways, your response is as much about protecting your peace and your boundaries as it is about dealing with the other person. The way you handle this moment can say a lot about your growth, your self-worth, and your ability to move forward, regardless of what they bring into your life. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control: our thoughts, our actions, our reactions. We can't control when people come and go, but we can decide how we will show up in the face of those changes. So, before you rush to respond, take a deep breath and reflect on what really matters to you. What do you need right now, and how can you show up for yourself in this moment of uncertainty? I want you to take a moment and drop this affirmation in the comments. I trust myself to respond with wisdom. Say it, believe it, and let's start a conversation about how we can move through these moments with clarity and peace. Number 1, their return is about them, not you. When someone returns after a period of absence, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that they've come back because they finally see your worth, or because they've realized the depth of your value. We tend to romanticize their return, convincing ourselves that they've had a transformative epiphany about their feelings and that now they want to make things right. However, the truth is that their return has more to do with their unresolved emotions and unhealed wounds than it does with any newfound appreciation for you. The key to understanding this dynamic is to reflect on how things were when they left. Did they show any regard for your emotions, your needs, or your well-being? Were you treated with the respect you deserve? Most likely their departure wasn't motivated by a desire to protect you or a genuine concern for your happiness. Instead, it was often about them avoiding their own discomfort, whether that meant escaping responsibility, running away from difficult conversations, or simply not having the emotional maturity to handle the complexities of the relationship. Their absence wasn't a commentary on your worth, but rather a reflection of their own emotional immaturity or fear of facing uncomfortable truth. So, when they return after some time apart, it's crucial to realize that they haven't come back because they've evolved into a better version of themselves. They've come back because they're grappling with the consequences of their past actions, perhaps realizing that they didn't fully appreciate you, or maybe even regretting how things ended. However, this doesn't mean they've done the work to become a better person. Instead, it simply means they are confronted with the emptiness that their actions have left in their own lives. They might miss the comfort, the familiarity, or the validation that came from your presence. But that is not the same as a deep, self-aware understanding of the value you bring to their life. One important thing to keep in mind is that the return of someone from your past can sometimes be an attempt to fill a void or alleviate their own sense of guilt or loneliness. They may be seeking closure, reassurance, or a second chance at something that didn't work before. But none of this is truly about your growth or happiness. Your worth should never be contingent on their actions or their perception of you. You are not a solution to their emotional crises. Your value exists independently of their recognition, and their return, while it may stir up emotions, should not dictate how you view yourself. This is where the wisdom of thinkers like Maya Angelou comes into play. She once said, "You may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them." This quote encapsulates the idea that your value is inherent and cannot be reduced or diminished by the actions of others, particularly when those actions are rooted in their own emotional struggles rather than a genuine recognition of your worth. You do not need to allow their return to diminish your sense of self or make you feel as though you are incomplete without them. Their return is ultimately about them reconciling their past, not about rewriting the story of your future. In fact, the absence of someone who left without proper closure or accountability might have been the best thing for you in the long run. Their reappearance should not be the catalyst for your self-worth or your decision to move forward. Instead, it should be an opportunity to assess whether this person truly aligns with the life you've built for yourself, or whether they are simply a reminder of something that once was but is no longer necessary for your growth. In the end, it's essential to stay rooted in your own worth. Don't allow someone's return to make you question your value. Their absence was never a reflection of your inability to be loved or appreciated. It was simply an indication that they weren't capable of being the partner or friend you needed. And now, in their return, they may be seeking resolution, but that doesn't mean you are required to be the solution. Number 2, they want to test the waters, not rebuild what's broken. When someone from your past reaches out after a period of silence, it's easy to assume that they want to rebuild the relationship, that they're finally ready to fix what was broken. However, more often than not, their primary goal is to test the waters, to check if it's safe for them to re-enter your life without having to confront the damage they left behind. This is not about reconciliation or healing. It's about finding out if they can slide back into the comfort zone they once had without doing the hard work of mending the past. Imagine this scenario. Someone who hasn't been in your life for months or even years suddenly sends a message, an email, or a call. It's casual, low pressure, nothing too serious, perhaps just a "Hey, how have you been?" or "I was thinking about you." At first glance, it may seem harmless, even friendly. But think about it. Why now? What's changed? The fact is, they're not necessarily reaching out because they've had a profound shift in how they view the relationship or you. They're testing to see if they can ease back in without having to deal with any unresolved issues. This dynamic is like dipping a toe in the water before jumping into the pool, slowly, cautiously, to see if the environment is right for re-entry. They want to gauge if you're still emotionally available, if you're still willing to entertain the possibility of them in your life, or if your boundaries have shifted. In essence, they want to know if the coast is clear and if they can resume their old patterns without having to face the consequences of their past actions. What's often left unsaid is that these types of reappearances rarely involve an honest effort to fix what's broken. Instead, they're seeking comfort, validation, or even a temporary escape from their own unresolved feelings. It's not about repairing a damaged relationship. It's about filling a void or relieving discomfort. If they truly wanted to rebuild, they would acknowledge the harm they caused, apologize sincerely, and be ready to do the hard work of repairing trust. Testing the waters is a convenient way for them to avoid that responsibility. The famous philosopher Seneca once said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." This quote speaks to the heart of why some people hesitate to confront the reality of what they've done. It's not that reconciling is impossible. It's that they lack the courage to face the difficult task of true emotional accountability. Instead, they test the waters, hoping they can slip back into your life without having to deal with the real issues. So, when someone reaches out, take a moment to ask yourself, are they genuinely interested in rebuilding what was broken, or are they simply seeking a return to comfort? Recognizing their intentions can help you decide whether this is an opportunity for growth or just another fleeting moment of self-interest. Your peace and emotional well-being should be the priority. Don't let someone's temporary discomfort dictate the terms of your healing. Number 3, your silence forces them to confront their actions. When someone who walked away from you comes back, there's often an unspoken expectation that you'll simply pick up where things left off. They may hope that time has healed all wounds and that the emotional distance they've created can be erased with a simple hello. But here's the reality. When they ignored you, they made their choice. Now, if you remain silent or distant, you have the power to force them to confront the consequences of that decision. Your silence is not passive. It is an active, powerful form of communication. It's a reflection of your growth, your boundaries, and your refusal to be treated as though your emotions and experiences don't matter. By not immediately re-engaging, you're signaling that things are not the same, that time has passed, and you have changed. You have done the work of healing, growing, and learning to be strong on your own. You've moved forward without them, and they now need to reckon with the fact that their absence left a void they cannot simply fill by showing up again. Imagine the emotional labor you've invested in yourself over the months or years since they left. You've built new habits, learned to be independent, and found new ways to cope with your feelings. You've found peace in places that didn't include them, and you've learned the value of your own company. Now, they return, expecting you to reassemble the pieces they once broke without a second thought. But this time, your silence is the barrier that holds them accountable. By not rushing to respond or engage, you force them to sit with their actions. They must confront the discomfort of knowing that they've hurt you, and they can't simply glide back into your life without recognizing the impact of their absence. This isn't about punishing them. It's about giving them a chance to reflect on what they've done, to consider if they've changed, and to realize that they cannot expect a smooth re-entry into your world without acknowledging the hurt they caused. As Maya Angelou wisely said, "We teach people how to treat us." By remaining silent, you are teaching them that your time, energy, and emotional availability are not to be taken for granted. You're reinforcing the importance of self-respect and setting a standard for how you deserve to be treated. Silence, in this case, is not the absence of communication, but rather a deliberate act of holding someone accountable for their actions. Let your silence speak for itself. It is a reminder that their past choices have consequences, and if they want to be part of your future, they will need to do the work of earning back your trust and respect. You don't have to shout, argue, or explain. The silence itself will force them to confront their own behavior. It is in that silence that they will find the truth they've been avoiding. Number 4, don't fall for their words. Watch their actions. We've all heard the saying, "Actions speak louder than words." It's one of those timeless truths that resonates deeply, especially when someone from your past returns with promises and apologies. The temptation to believe their words is strong, especially if you're longing for closure or hoping for a resolution. However, the real test of their intentions lies not in what they say, but in what they do. When someone comes back into your life after abandoning you, they may present an eloquent apology or offer grand declarations of how much they've changed. But words are just that, words. The true measure of someone's growth and sincerity is found in their actions. Have they taken meaningful steps to address the reasons they left in the first place? Have they worked on themselves, on their own faults and shortcomings? Or are they just offering words they think will win you back, with no real substance behind them? People can be skilled at saying what they know you want to hear. They might tell you they've learned from their mistakes or that they're sorry for the pain they caused. But those promises are hollow if they're not backed up by consistent, genuine efforts to prove they've changed. Change is not something that can be claimed in a few lines of dialogue. It's something that must be demonstrated over time. If they truly valued you, they wouldn't have let you go in the first place. And if they genuinely cared about rebuilding the relationship, they wouldn't expect you to just accept their words without any proof of change. As the Roman philosopher Seneca wisely said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." This quote speaks to the preciousness of your time and emotional energy. Every moment spent on empty promises or false hope is a moment wasted. Don't allow their words to distract you from the reality of their actions. Watch how they behave over time, how they treat you, how they follow through on their commitments, and whether they are actively showing that they've grown from the past. If you choose to allow someone back into your life, make sure they earn that place through consistent, meaningful actions. Words may win back your attention for a moment, but only their behavior will determine if they deserve a second chance. Don't fall for a temporary show of regret. Hold out for the kind of change that proves their sincerity. Number 5, their return is a reflection of their insecurity, not your importance. Let's be honest for a moment. When someone returns after disappearing from your life, it often has very little to do with your worth or importance. More often than not, their return is a reflection of their own insecurity. Whether they're lonely, bored, or struggling with their own life choices, their decision to reach out has more to do with their emotional needs than with any genuine desire to reconnect with you in a meaningful way. Think about the role you once played in their life. You were a safety net for them, a person who was always there, ready to listen, to offer support, or to provide comfort during times of uncertainty. Your presence in their life offered a sense of stability, a space where they could fall back when life felt overwhelming. But now, after time has passed, you've grown. You've learned to stand on your own 2 feet, and you no longer need them to feel secure or validated. You've found strength within yourself, and that changes everything. Their return is not a recognition of how much you matter or how much they miss you. It's about them feeling the weight of the emptiness they created when they walked away. It's about them seeking out the familiarity of a past connection, something that once made them feel comfortable and safe. They may miss the support you provided, but that's not the same as missing you as a person. The emotional void they feel isn't a reflection of your value. It's a reflection of their own internal instability. You may feel validated when they reach out. It's natural to want to believe that their return signals how important you are in their life. But the truth is, their reaching out is more about them trying to fill the gap left by their own choices. When they walked away, they made a decision to leave. And now, when they're struggling with loneliness or uncertainty, they return to the one person who used to provide them with comfort. It's not about your significance in their life. It's about their desire for emotional reassurance. Maya Angelou once said, "When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time." This quote is a powerful reminder that people's actions and choices reveal their true intentions. The first time they left, they showed you their priorities. If they're returning now, it's crucial to recognize that their actions today might not be driven by a deep, selfless appreciation for you, but by their own need to regain what they've lost. Their return is ultimately an attempt to ease their own discomfort. It's an opportunity for them to fill the emotional gaps they've created, nothing more. Your worth is not tied to their insecurity or their need for validation. You are valuable, whole, and capable of finding peace on your own. Don't let their return trick you into thinking it's about you. It's about them, and that's an important distinction to make as you decide how to respond. Number 6. They are testing how much they can control you. There's a certain type of person who moves in and out of your life, never staying too long, but always returning when it suits them. When they come back, it's rarely about reconciliation or growth. More often than not, it's about testing how much control they still have over you. They want to see if you're still vulnerable to their charm, if you still crave their attention, and if they can still make you feel inadequate or incomplete without them. This kind of person doesn't view relationships in terms of mutual respect or shared growth. Instead, they treat connections as a way to fulfill their own emotional needs, whether that's validation, comfort, or simply the assurance that they are wanted. When they return, it's not with the intention of building something solid or lasting. It's with the goal of seeing if they can still manipulate the situation in their favor, seeing how much they can take from you emotionally before they leave again, as they have done before. Their return is a test of power, not love. They might show up with flattering words, promises of change, or sweet gestures to lure you back in. But beneath the surface, their behavior is about checking if they still have the ability to control your emotions, to influence your decisions, and to make you question your worth. They want to know if they can still make you feel like you're not enough without them, if they can reignite the insecurities you once had and position themselves as the one person who holds the key to your happiness. This is a toxic game, one that plays on your vulnerabilities and emotions. It's important to recognize it for what it is: manipulation. Their return isn't about building a solid, healthy relationship. It's about fulfilling their own needs and desires, using you as a means to an end, only to leave once they've gotten what they wanted. It's a cycle of control, one where you are left feeling drained, confused, and questioning your own worth. Maya Angelou captured this idea perfectly when she said, "The first time someone shows you who they are, believe them." If someone has repeatedly entered and exited your life on their terms, their behavior is a clear reflection of their priorities. Their return is not a sign of true change, but rather an attempt to see how much they can manipulate the situation in their favor. Don't fall for their empty promises or sweet talk. Pay attention to their actions, not just the words they say, but the way they treat you, respect your boundaries, and show up for you over time. This is where your boundaries become your greatest ally. Don't let them control your emotional state. Don't let them play with your heart or make you feel like you need to prove your worth. Set clear, firm boundaries and stick to them. Protect your energy and your peace. Recognize the game they're playing and refuse to engage. If they truly cared about you, their return would be about more than testing the waters. It would be about showing up with honesty, respect, and a genuine desire to rebuild. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that love means giving someone another chance. But real love requires mutual respect and trust, not manipulation or control. Don't allow anyone to use you to satisfy their emotional whims. You are worthy of being loved without conditions, and you deserve someone who values you for who you are, not for how much you can fulfill their needs. Number 7, your response defines your boundaries. When someone who has left your life returns, whether it's after a few months or years, this moment becomes a defining point in how you allow that person to participate in your future. Their return isn't just about them. It's also about you and what you're willing to accept. The way you respond, whether it's with silence, a calm and measured reply, or a firm rejection, sends a powerful message. This response is your opportunity to set the tone for the kind of relationship you will allow to exist moving forward, if at all. If you give in too easily, it risks reopening old wounds and dragging you back into unhealthy patterns. It's easy to slip into the familiar, responding to them out of longing, old habits, or even a hope for reconciliation. But doing so can put you back in a situation where your boundaries are disregarded, and you find yourself accepting behavior that doesn't align with the person you are now. Every time you let someone come and go as they please, you diminish your own sense of self-respect, reinforcing the idea that they can treat you as an option, only to return when it's convenient for them. On the other hand, if you hold your ground, you make it clear that you are not the same person who allowed them to walk in and out of your life before. You've grown. You've developed strength, clarity, and self-respect. You no longer tolerate being treated as an afterthought or someone who's only valued when they are needed. Your response, whether it's politely declining to engage, setting firm boundaries, or explaining how their actions affected you, shows them that you're not willing to accept less than you deserve. Seneca once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This quote speaks to the importance of self-mastery in moments like these. Your response to their return is a reflection of your ability to maintain control over your own emotions, decisions, and actions. You don't need to be harsh or confrontational, but by staying true to your values and holding firm to your boundaries, you demonstrate that you are now the master of your own life, not them. Your boundaries are an extension of your self-respect, and they must reflect who you are now, not who you were when they left. When you stand firm, you send a clear message. I have changed, I have grown, and I will not allow myself to be treated like an option or a backup plan. This is not about punishing them for the past. It's about protecting your peace and ensuring that you never go back to a place where your needs were overlooked or your boundaries crossed. The way you respond now sets a precedent for your future interactions. You have the power to decide what you will tolerate and what you won't. And that decision will shape the kind of relationship, if any, you have moving forward. Ultimately, the choice is yours. Your response is your opportunity to demonstrate the strength of your boundaries and the growth you've experienced. Don't let someone else define how you're treated. Let your actions define what you are willing to accept. Friends, you are worth so much more than anyone who walks in and out of your life when it's convenient for them. Remember, their return isn't about your value. It's about their own unresolved issues. And your response should reflect your growth, self-respect, and the boundaries you've worked so hard to build. What do you think? Have you experienced this kind of return? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more conversations that dive deep into the complexities of relationships, growth, and self-respect.